Good morning and welcome to Health is Well. So this segment today is about stress management. So as we all know, we're really busy with our lives, from raising children to tending to family members, spouses, work situations, financial situations, etc. And what I'm finding time and time again, just with my own life and also in conversation with friends and family, is many of us are dealing with many levels of stress. So I want to be very clear that stress shows up in various forms. There is such a thing as good stress, and there's such a thing as extremely stressful situations where you feel hopeless and helpless, and that level of stress is called trauma. So recently I went to a workshop on trauma, identifying trauma experiences, doing what's called a visual first aid, which maybe I'll send some links down below if those of you who are really interested to know more about visual first aid and the technique of identifying experiences of trauma and knowing how to help to mitigate them. But what I want to focus today's segment on is how we deal with stress on a daily basis before it starts to build up and pile up is an indication of how well we'll be in our mind, body, spirit, health state. So for me, what I tend to do, there was a time in my life where I was super stressful. I was going to school, I was working, I was moving and going nonstop to the point where I just was so stressed I didn't know what to do to unstress or de-stress. And so I ended up having to go online and Google and look for things on websites and ask friends around, like, how do you manage stress? Because I was so overwhelmed, I didn't know what even to do next. And the beauty of doing daily de-stressors is that you don't have to wait until you're about to have a breakdown or an overwhelm episode or anything like that until you manage stress. So I want to be clear also in saying that stress can be a killer. Unmanaged, unchecked stress for a long period of time can be a killer. But the beautiful good news is that we can choose every day. Every day we can choose, do I let the stressful situation take over and control me, or am I willing to do something different? Am I willing to rise above how I feel, but instead to choose the healthiest path for me? I'm going to give an example. So lately, probably for 6 months or so, I've been really intentional about mindfulness, mindful breathing, mindful meditation, state of mind, being present. So one thing I learned in this workshop, which is beautiful, is that most people do not know how to breathe. Take a breath. Most people do not know how to breathe. Many of us are going from work to home, to home, to work, to family, to friends, to doing, running errands, going to the grocery store, picking up kids from school, going to the post office, going to the bank, just regular day-to-day activities without quite breathing. What we do is what's known as shallow breathing. So we're doing a lot of this. So what happens is, and the trainer explained it so well, that we carry so much stress right here in the chest area. Or some of us carry it below in our belly, the diaphragm area. Some of us carry it here in our shoulders. Some of us carry it right here in our head and our temples. Okay? So what the technique, number one, above all, is to breathe. Deep breathing. So there's a technique called the 3-2-6 breathing. Or you can look it up online. But it's really where you take a breath in 3 and the count to the count of 3. So what you're doing is you're taking in a breath to the count of 3, you're holding 2, and then you're releasing slowly for a long time, exhaling for the count of 6. So it's 3 in, hold 2, 6 out. So the idea and the theory around this, and there's websites you can find out around this and Google around the 3-6 deep breathing technique or whatnot. But what you're doing is you want to exhale longer than you inhale. I think the go-to, what some folks say, is twice as much. So if you're breathing in on the count of 3, you want to breathe out on the count of 6. If you're breathing on the count of 4, you want to breathe out on the count of 8. If you're breathing on the count of 2, which you want to make sure you go up to at least 3, you want to breathe out on the count of 4. So you want to double your exhale. Your exhale should be doubling your inhale. And this is the reason. A lot of us, when we're anxious, stressed out, feeling overwhelmed, overstretched, a lot of times we don't do deep breathing. We're doing just shallow, like. And when you ever in a situation where you're in panic or you're having an attack, what happens is you're breathing very shallow. You're breathing fast in, but very either non-existent out or very slowly out. So like, for example, right? When you're doing that, your body doesn't have a chance to really release the stress. So you're holding it on. You're causing a lot of tension in the areas where there's a blockage, and you cause yourself more harm in your physical state, your emotional, and your psychological state. So this is the technique. Whenever you're feeling stressed out, you got bad news, you have some financial issues, you're having some personal relationship issues, you're getting the worst news of your life, whatever. The first thing you want to do is you want to breathe, which is, in most cases, you want to sit down. You want to inhale on 3, hold on to, exhale on 6, and do that at least for a minute. So we're going to try that out here. Okay, let's try that again. Inhale on 3, hold on to, exhale on 6. Once again, I'm not going to count this time. You count, inhale on 3, hold on 2, exhale on 6. Another thing that might be good when you're exhaling is create a vacuum like this. So you're really literally blowing out your steam and your stress. Inhale on 3, hold on 2, exhale on 6. Try one more time. Again. One more time. Inhale on 3, hold on 2, exhale on 6, and I will join you and welcome you to close your eyes while you do it. One more time. Inhale on 3, hold on 2, exhale on 6, and then close your eyes. Do it together. After that, ooh, you should feel it. You should feel all in your shoulder, your legs, your body. You should feel like this sense of calm and tingle. Because what you're doing is you're telling your brain and your body are communicating with each other. I'm okay. Everything is fine. And what I suggest in mindful deep breathing is a few things when you're managing stress particularly. Have your feet flat on the ground because you want to be grounded. You want to make sure that the earth beneath you is holding you. So you get grounded by putting your feet flat on the ground. Wherever you're sitting, make sure you have a straight back chair sitting up. And that way you're making sure that you're being protected, and then you take a breathe in and breathe out. So hopefully that helps you out. I encourage you to try this with your friends, your family, your children, to really calm and understand that breathing will save your life. Deep breathing on a regular basis will help bring down your stress, get your head, mind right, and put your head in the game to really live life more abundantly. So with that, I encourage you to use this. I bid you love, peace, and clean living.